Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Men, One Beard. I am your host today, JB, and my co-host,
Mono.
How are you today, Mono?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm less tired than last time because we're actually recording on a Thursday, and at time of recording, episode 3 has just been released. But I'm also excited as well because tomorrow is my last day at my current job.
Yeah. Are you going to miss your old work or?
I miss some of the people because
Yeah.
it was a bit of a character company.
I think that's the main part in jobs. I think it's like the people you work with. So
Yeah, I guess. I think I've had some jobs where I didn't really talk to many other people because I'm not really sure why I didn't, but it was just one of those jobs where
interesting.
we were all split into certain teams. But I think because this one I had it over COVID and it was sort of a unity thing when we had to be forced to go into
together,
work.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really going to miss the work. It's just some of the people.
No one misses their work.
No.
Their work though,
Like
so.
mine's a bit different because I know that everyone obviously hates their normal admin jobs where they work at a computer, but mine has a bit more. I'm not going to say what my job is, but mine has a bit more drama to it. So I'll probably miss a bit of that, getting in all that drama. But yeah, I won't miss the actual doing the all the admin stuff. Yeah.
How about? Are you looking forward to your new job?
Yeah, because it's again, it's a job that will have a little bit of admin, but most of the time I think I won't be in an office stuck there.
Okay.
It'll be a lot of moving
Like
about.
work.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
doing like active stuff. I don't look it, but I do like to do active jobs. I'd rather be walking around than being in an office. But yeah, so tomorrow is my last day. I'm gonna go down the pub with some people, and then that'll be it.
All right, sounds good. Am I invited?
No, we have to
Savage.
keep our professional and our personal lives separate now. But yeah, how are you anyway?
Yeah, I'm good. Fairly tired because it's the end of the day after a long shift.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been relatively busy where I work. I'm currently alone right now.
In
My
life
colleagues,
or-
my
yeah,
colleagues
or
are away from now. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a busy Friday for me, but I'll get through it.
if you need some help, I'll be there. Even though I have no idea what it is you do. But yeah, at least it we the
Yeah,
weekend.
sure. Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to go to a food festival on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I think I
Yes.
just want to try all the different cuisines and yeah, you know me, just try everything.
Yeah, because we don't get a lot of stuff that happens in the city. Every like end of summer we get a fair, and then we have to wait another year for the fair to come back. I think that's essentially it. They got rid of our carnival.
Yeah, but I think it was only just because of COVID. I think it'll probably come back.
No,
It's such a
they
big thing.
said they're probably not going to do it again.
Oh, okay.
Which means they will in a few years when people are like, oh, remember when we used to have the carnival, and then they're going to be like, oh yes, let's cash in on this. But yeah, so it's actually quite exciting that we've actually got something that people are going to be there. Like, there's actually going to be
It's
Master Chef
a big
chefs.
event.
Yeah.
To be honest, talk about the carnival. It's pretty wild. I just
Yeah.
remember it's just so hard to navigate through all the amount of people just on the road and.
Yeah, so those of you listening from away from Oxford, so it's not exactly like Notting Hill Carnival or Rio de Janeiro Carnival.
Because you have a lot more space there.
Yeah, it's essentially in Oxford there is a road that leads into the city centre called Cowley Road, which is multicultural. It's full of different cuisines and different life. So it used to be once a year in the summer. There used to be a carnival, there used to be parades, there used to be food stalls. But it's sort of like if you start from the top of the road, so the Cowley Road is really long. If you start from the top of the road, everything is calm. That's where all the kids are doing their performances and all sorts of stuff going on, that face painting and that. Go further and further down, go towards the city centre. It's more and more rough as you go down.
Yeah. I think there's that part like where they have the DJ.
Yeah,
and it's there. It's literally impossible to go past beyond that area because there's so many people.
And it gets to that point where obviously because it's a day for people to get drunk, especially down that end, where a little nudge, obviously just trying to get through, like in a nightclub, can start a fight essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, yeah, it's very common though. I think there's always the annual fight in those events. There's always, as soon as you leave, there's like news going around saying, you know, someone got beaten up, someone got into a fight.
Yeah, it is fairly common, to be fair. But other than that, the carnival was pretty decent. I don't think I appreciated it as much because I think when I was a kid, it was obviously we had the other fair that happened just before school term starts.
Yeah.
That also had rides and stuff, so I was down for all of that.
Much more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah, but then the carnival, I think later on, I was like, oh yes, there's actually, when I can actually afford my own food, I was like, oh yes, this is actually pretty decent.
Because I think food plays a very important part in the carnival. Because the other one's more of just hanging out with friends. And going on rides, pretty much.
Like we still go to that fair now, even though we don't really go on rides. We mainly go on the bumper cars. But yeah, I think that the fair actually has more memories for us, but in the carnival has more
I think it's more food. And the most annoying thing about the carnival is that it usually takes place around July, so it's really hot. It's really hot.
Yeah, I think that was probably, I think the last time I remember going with you was really hot.
Yeah, and I was laughing at you.
You thought I was screwing you the whole day.
You looked so pissed off because of the heat.
Well, I was a little annoyed that day. Not anything that was going on that day. It was two reasons. One, I had a toothache that wouldn't go away. And the other one, I just quit my job after having a fight with the manager.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Not a physical fight, it was an argument with the manager. And I was only at that job for 4 days. So it was just like a lot of things that happened that day, like the day before that.
And I wasn't helping you by laughing at you.
Well, I think it was also because it was so hot that we were waiting for two of our friends to turn up, and it was taking a long time.
Yeah,
and it was just, I can't handle, you know me in the heat, I can't handle that heat. Like I much prefer the cold. But yeah, so that day was a write-off. But I think the last time we actually went, so that was actually the time before. Last time we actually went, we actually did it properly. We decided it was just me and you.
Just get food,
and we got food. We walked around. I think we saw a few people.
I think though, the food wasn't really. I mean, it was really weird because I think, if I recall correctly, we went to a Jamaican place.
Yes.
But I think they just microwaved the food.
Yeah,
it was literally just a microwave.
To me, I'm not too fussed with that. Like, microwaving stuff is fine. If I wouldn't want to go to a restaurant and get microwaved.
Yeah, exactly my point.
If it's outside, like the stalls, it makes a little bit more sense. Because if you think it was small businesses doing that, and it was hard for them to keep up the heat of their food.
Yeah. But to me, you're a business. It's like me selling stuff to you, and it's just microwave meals.
To be fair, I think I did see someone try to do that on Deliveroo once. It was a viral video.
There was. I remember seeing that.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, I didn't mind it too much being microwaved because I do understand the struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been good if it was fresh.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're paying restaurant prices.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
No.
And all they did was reheat it on the microwave and then just eat it. It was nice, but yeah.
Yeah, if I went to a restaurant and I saw a microwave like there, and everything they put in there was what we were going to eat, I'll probably just walk out.
I might as well be the chef if you want.
Yeah, I can make a good fry up. So, but yeah, so obviously we just talked crap about fairs and stuff for the past 10 minutes. Should we get down to nitty-gritty?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first part. I think this is your part.
Yes. So we're not actually going to talk about a film today. It's a TV show. A TV show that was massive. Almost. Well, I was about to say almost everyone I knew was watching it.
Is this Arcane?
You love Arcane too much. And I will get around to watching that. I just don't have the time. I've got other stuff to watch now. So yeah, this one was one of the biggest shows of all time. Like, not even exaggerating, it is one of the biggest shows of all time. And it's obviously when I was saying that some people I knew wouldn't watch it because of some of the themes that are in it, primarily like the nudity, which was a major thing, especially in the early seasons. And I think you probably could guess what we're talking about right now, and that's obviously Game of Thrones.
Yep.
So yeah, I know a lot of people that I had to try and convince to watch it, saying like they were like, "Oh, it's basically porn, isn't it?" I was like, "No, because you don't actually see anything go in. It's more,
you can leave your imagination."
Yeah, you do see a lot of nudity, especially early on, but it's not as much as everyone says it was. Like when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, okay, it's like two bits an episode."
Isn't it just like the chest and behind?
Yeah,
right? Most of
like
the time.
essentially like most stuff that has nudity in it. But obviously, this is every episode. I think because people obviously see there's a lot more sex scenes in terms of like
in general.
Yeah, brothels and all that sort of stuff. I think that was maybe what got people, because obviously sex scenes are common, but if you think about it, a lot of it doesn't show anything. And then when they're done, the girl normally gets a blanket and covers herself, which obviously isn't like something that probably happens in real life. I'm not trying to bait myself out here a little bit, but yeah, essentially. Well, anyway, we'll get back to it. So Game of Thrones, despite all of its themes, is actually one of the best shows I've watched ever. I know that you didn't finish it, but I got to the end, and season 8, everyone was saying, "Oh, it's lost its way. Wasn't that great."
That's the last season.
Yeah,
right?
so season 8 was the last one. I think people were talking a bit earlier on that it was going downhill, but to me, it wasn't. Like, I think what got them was that they believed their own hype, which happens to a lot of things, I think. So they got to season 8 and they were like, right, let's change it around. Let's do about 10 more minute episodes. So instead of like 50 minutes, it's now an hour, including ad breaks. And let's have 6. Like, when you see that someone says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have less episodes," you're gonna think, "Oh yes, like all 6 episodes, they're gonna be amazing. They're gonna be action packed and everything." They spent about 3 episodes talking.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just always have. There has to be some sort of downtime. You can't just have extremely.
But in a 6 episode arc, you would expect at least 1 or 2 episodes separated from each other. So maybe episode
action,
1 and then episode 4 being the talking ones.
Yeah.
But this was episodes 1, 2, and then I'm trying to remember correctly, I can't remember when the Battle of Winterfell was, but the whole build up to the Battle of Winterfell was just weird talking scenes.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe they wanted to just build up a bit more before the
it wasn't really build up.
I mean, I didn't watch it, so
the thing is, the first 7 seasons, it built up to what we already knew was going to happen.
Okay.
The talking bits I think it was just trying to get as much information in that they didn't really use in the end, because there's a lot of things online where it was, I don't know if it's in the meme, so it's like a picture of the creators, and I think at one point they said, "Oh yeah, we forgot about that," and then there's every bit that they forgot about. Everyone people did memes. Like there's like do you remember in the very first episode, I don't know if you can remember when the White Walkers first introduced, they're the first like characters on screen.
Right.
They made like a symbol out of the dead body parts. I don't know if you remember that. So they made like a weird symbol. Never referenced ever again. Like, why would they do that symbol? What was that?
Maybe it's just maybe they were looking to reference that in the future, but maybe they just
I think
things
they just
get
forgot.
left out. Yeah, no, but things can get left out.
Yeah,
especially when you have a source material.
Yeah, sort of. It was just like, why did they stop? Like, I'm pretty sure because the actors were getting paid bucks, right? They were getting paid like at least $1 million an episode. Why did they stop? It was one of the biggest shows on TV. Well, actually, the biggest show on TV, making so much money through advertising and everything. Like, people were literally like paying streaming services to try and get it. Why would you stop at 6? Well, firstly, why was it 6 episodes? And then why would you stop before the books stopped?
Right.
So the books hadn't finished.
Right.
And they decided, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can compare it to like anime. it's in the anime world, it's completely different. I think it's most of the time they wait for a long time before. So to kind of like they'll have times where they won't air any anime so that the manga can catch up, so that there's always going to be source material they reference to. But now I remember people were mentioning that. Now you mention it.
Because we're currently recording in my room, you can see that there are books, right? So I've got the books. The first one's out of the box. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 7 including the first one.
Okay.
And I think two of those books are in 2 parts. So you can see that they hadn't caught up yet, because each season was a book.
Okay.
Essentially, if I ever do remake Harry Potter, that's what I want to do.
Okay, right.
And yeah, they obviously wanted to get it out there, because what's different is between this and anime, I think Western culture likes to produce and likes to every year try and get something out. Like you see this Fast and Furious, like every year or every 2 years there's a new Fast and Furious, because they like to keep, they think that there's a certain bubble that they have to stay in.
Yeah.
Which Hollywood believed its own curse. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the trilogy curse, where 2 films were produced way before the third.
Right.
So there were certain films that were a part of this. I'm struggling to remember now, but I think one of them was The Godfather. So Godfather 1 and 2, 1972, 1974. Godfather 3 came out in the 90s, I think maybe 1990.
Okay.
So quite a while apart. And it fit the story, because I think, from my recollection, the second film and the third film, I think the gap between them was the same as the gap in real life, almost.
Okay, right.
Because in the 70s, in the 1 and 2, it was set in like the 50s. And then in the Godfather 3, I think it was set in the 70s.
So 20 years.
Yeah.
So wait, by producing you mean, is that production or is that the actual setting of the movie?
No, it's a production.
Okay.
So, so Godfather 3 came out. I don't mind Godfather 3 as much as everyone says. Okay. It's not as good as the first 2, but it's a good film. Like, if it wasn't part of the Godfather films, and let's say the first 2 wasn't made, it would be a good Al Pacino movie for that time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But obviously films that have broken it are films like Toy Story. Toy Story 1 and 2 were 90 films, right? And Toy Story 3 came out, I think, 2010?
Yeah, it was really late. Yeah.
And that was a smash hit.
Yeah, people liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. And so obviously that broke the curse, but I think Hollywood was still scared. So if they release things too late,
people think they'll think people will lose interest in it. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But obviously that's the difference between the West and the East. Whereas Japan are like, no, we're gonna wait until we get the source material before we release the anime.
Maybe because it's just the structure of how animes are, just in general. I think because they're always most anime they are from manga, but there are some that isn't, and admittedly, from my experience, I don't think they're as good. But
because films and TV shows these days are all adaptations. Like, it's rare to find original ones. Ones that I think, that's a good original film, and I realise, based on the book
somewhere else.
But I think Game of Thrones should have waited. I think they had the audience, and they should have waited until George R. R. Martin was like,
but wasn't he like?
He's taking
a long time.
I don't even know if it's done now at this time of recording. I don't know if it's actually finished.
And they're already on the new series, right?
Yeah, so that's why we're talking about. That's why we're talking about the Game of Thrones today, is because at current time of recording, which is the 25th of August, it came out. So it would have come out Monday, I believe, which would have been 24, 23, 22, 22nd of August, I think, if I got my maths right. I'm not sure if I did, but yeah.
I don't know, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, so they brought out a new one, and I think, obviously you haven't seen it.
No.
But it is the first episode, right? It's a new one episode. Brilliant. I honestly thought, we've got Game of Thrones back.
Is it better than the first episode, I guess? Because the first episode was not that good.
What, Game of Thrones?
Yeah, the first one.
So, yeah, I think the first season of Game of Thrones was a bit like...
it just hooked you. That's all. It was just trying to hook you, because obviously...
I think it was because they had the source materials, they knew what they were going to do.
What's happening after. Yeah.
With this House of Dragon, it does come from source material. So I've got the book somewhere. I don't think it's in my line of sight at the moment. But it's called Fire and Blood. It's not part of the box set. It was one that... This is why people are like, he's a troll, because he's supposed to be finishing his series, but he released a whole anthology of Targaryens.
Right. So is that what the new series is about, the Targaryens?
Yeah, so it's all about the Targaryen Empire. It's like set 100, I think it said 172 years before Daenerys was born.
Okay, so there's no characters like...
No.
Cool.
So there's characters you've heard of, maybe through talk, but it's not connected in terms of there's a character here that's going to be there later.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was very good. It felt like it was going back to the roots. The only thing that I was like, was I wish that even though it was based on the Targaryens and based on the Fire and Blood book, I would love to have like more Starks and stuff in there as well. Because what I liked about Game of Thrones was that it was like an MMO essentially, where it was like
follow the family.
Yeah, there's loads. You choose your family essentially. So I remember everyone was like, "Oh no, I'm a Lannister, I'm a Stark," and everyone was choosing.
So the different houses.
Yeah, like Harry Potter. That's why
following a theme there.
That's the only thing I think that I missed out of it, was that it didn't have that sort of wide world capability of...
Maybe it's just because it's the first episode. Because it's more of like... Because I think what's really good about Game of Thrones is the world building. That's what I liked about it. But then obviously right the first season, you didn't get introduced to lots of people in Game of Thrones.
No, but there was world building there. Because what Game of Thrones did in the first episode, which I noticed whilst re-watching it, was that they labelled the kingdoms essentially where they come whenever it was new in the first episode. So obviously we see Daenerys with the what are they called? Khal Drogo's lot.
I don't know.
Can't remember. It will come back to me later.
There's naked men.
It's wherever they were. I can't remember where they were either. But obviously, when it went to Winterfell, it would say Winterfell, King's Landing. And we were introduced to quite a lot of different families. But obviously, you're right that it wasn't as much as it was later on, because we had like a lot of other families.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's what I just think that was just missing in this.
It's just the first episode, so I reckon there's going to be more opportunities in the future. How long is the source material? What's out? Is it just one book?
Yeah, it's just one book.
Just one book. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure how it's going to pan out, because I haven't read the book. I've got the book. I haven't read the book.
Right.
If that makes sense. I've got a lot of books. And I haven't read that.
You're
one.
A fake book nerd. Bookworm.
We're trying to go through books, but I'd more like to listen to
watch
them now.
Okay.
So I got a lot of audiobooks on my Audible. But yeah, so essentially going back to it, Game of Thrones, greatest show in the last few years. I think Sopranos is up there. I watched that. Breaking Bad's up there. But yeah, Game of Thrones, I loved it. A lot of violence, of action. You haven't finished it, but I've already spoiled it for you. Yeah. So, from what you watched, how far did you get?
I can't remember. I think end of season 6 or end of season 7.
Did you watch the Battle of the Bastards?
Yes, I did.
And did you say end of season 7?
Yeah.
Did you see the dragon get killed?
No.
Okay. So yeah, you would have been in between end of season 6 and season 7.
Somewhere along there, because I remember I was planning to catch up to the season when season 8 was going to air, but I think time. I don't know. Series to me just.
It was hard to watch as well, as in hard to find
time. Yeah.
No, not just time. Like
focus.
find the show, because it was HBO and Sky in the UK. It was hard. Like it wasn't like Netflix where you can go back. Like
easy,
I've got a lot of stuff on like Disney and Netflix that I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really do that with Game of Thrones because I don't have this.
You didn't have the HBO. I can't remember the streaming services. But yeah, I think it was just very. I felt like that show needed you to focus more on to it, if that makes sense. I needed a lot more, I guess, time to to actually listen to every single thing. It's not one of those shows that to me I can just have in the background and just. It's like, I think one of the shows I watched was what's that Marvel Netflix one? Daredevil. Like that one, you could just see it and you miss a scene, but it's fine because you'll get it. To me, I felt like there were some things that if you miss in Game of Thrones, I think in the future you will not understand what's happening.
There were like random characters that were like, oh, I forgot that they went there. So JB, what do you think is the best TV show?
Well, my favourite show at the moment that I can remember is Arcane.
I think we've spoken about Arcane a couple of times.
Yeah.
You've been meaning to get me to watch it.
Yeah.
And it is on my list. Like, it's not something that I'm not saying no to it. It's just that I've got other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you gotta find time for that kind of stuff. And yeah.
It's League of Legends, isn't it?
Well, it's set in the world of League of Legends, but it's not necessary for you to know who the characters are because I think League of Legends has too many characters to be in a show, and I think there's only a handful. I think only the main ones are actually a part of our character in the game, and I think potentially that's probably the reason why I was interested to watch it in the first place. But I did hear good things about it, so that's why I ended up watching it.
Fair enough. Maybe I will give it a go.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, so yeah, I'll let you watch it.
Cool. I might start it. I got a couple of days before I start work, so I might give it a go.
Yeah, start anime as well.
Nah. So is there any fashion bits that you want to talk about today?
Wait, first of all, I think we need to give it a Muna out of 10. Game of Thrones.
Forgot about that. For Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah.
I will go for 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, cool.
Mainly because of they didn't win.
Interesting. I'm going to be honest. I thought you were going to give it a higher score, but then like to scale it with yours, I would say like 6 out of 10. I don't think it's so. I feel it's good. It's just isn't as good as what people. Well, admittedly, yeah. Maybe I just need to finish the last 2 seasons, last 2 or 1.5 seasons, and maybe I'll understand it. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Battle of the Bastards was amazing.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
And then there were a few scenes in season 7 and 8 that were like, yeah, cool. Like there was the fight between the Hound and the Mountain.
Yeah.
And also the scene where Daenerys saves a bunch of people in the north of the Wall.
I can't remember.
I don't think you got that.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when the dragon. Yeah. But yeah, so that is our take on Game of Thrones. I think it was a bit long-winded about random stuff in between. But do you want me to go to my part? Yeah, go.
So, as you guys may know, it's a Thursday today, and Thursdays are a special day if you're into streetwear. It is Supreme Day.
Supreme Day.
Yeah, it is when Supreme drops, and for this season, today's actually the very first drop, and they released a T-shirt from. A T-shirt with Andre 3000. I don't know if you know him. Outcast, yeah. So, what do you think about Supreme, or do you want me to give you a bit of a background?
From what I know about Supreme,
right?
It's hype.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I think one of the first things I remember. Actually, the first time I remember hearing about Supreme was when I think it was my 17th birthday, you and a bunch
I forgot about that.
We went to London. I think what was that? That was 17, so that must have been 2013.
Yeah, I think it was for your birthday.
Yeah, it would have been my birthday.
Yeah,
because I remember we went to grab food and stuff, but we went for a day trip. And obviously there was half of us that weren't into fashion. and half
all
of
that
us
clothes,
that were. So you guys went off shopping, and I remember you guys were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to go to the Supreme
store."
Yeah, in London. But then also, what else I know about Supreme is the what made me think, oh yeah, it's hype, is the brick.
Yeah, the Supreme brick.
And people go mad for the Supreme brick.
Hmm.
I know that obviously, hearing stuff from you and other people, that they've done similar stuff. So I think, was there a wrench or something there?
Yeah. So funnily enough, this season they actually have another tool. It's a snow shovel. Is that the white? It's a shovel, but it's for the snow.
Yeah.
So that's what they're releasing this season. Because usually they have a really extravagant. Usually, they'll have an extravagant collaboration. So this time, I think it's collaboration with Honda. They're releasing a motorbike.
I thought Honda were going to make a snow shovel then. I was like, what?
Oh, no. And then they have like a snow shovel. I think, they just could. I think the way that Supreme works is that because they're such a big thing nowadays, because obviously back then, it was very rare for you to hear Supreme. I think the main reason why people heard of Supreme was just through music. Musicians wearing it, and now it's such a big thing and people know about it. They just literally they have the ability to collaborate with everybody and just release whatever they want and sell out. It's also just driven by the hype and being able to be resold in a secondary market.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember it being very limited stuff.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were interested in one design. For ourselves, I think it was. I can't remember what it was. It was like, so it was quite a cool design. I remember we both were. I think I was at work,
right?
So we were on call to each other.
We were looking at.
I think we tried to sign in, but I obviously, because I was at work, didn't have my automatic. The car payment stuff. So it wouldn't automatically fill in. I already lost out. I don't think you got
probably
one
not.
either.
Probably not.
But yeah, I think I've been to the Supreme store once with you. I think when we went to London that random day.
Yeah.
And I think we went in there. We went Apple store. Oh yeah, we must have been waiting
because
for
I broke.
phone.
Yeah. Because I broke my phone.
Was it a new phone that you got, or was it?
No, it was just no. I think it was like a year old, but it just cracked.
But did they?
They asked, so they couldn't fix it, so they just offered for a replacement. But I think the replacement was quite expensive.
Yeah. Because I remember we thought we'll go there. And
it was free, because before they used to just like Apple customer service used to just replace your phone straight up without extra costs, but now I think that's why they have Apple Care. But I don't think Apple Care existed then.
Yeah, because I recently used Samsung Care, because obviously I got a Samsung, and I was expecting to pay like £60 to repair my screen. You see how bad it was. It was I couldn't see like the bottom part of my screen, and it was all green. And
it was a strobe light.
Yeah,
it was a strobe light.
If you use it for too long, it'll start flashing at you. But yeah, I obviously got that for free somehow. Which is decent. But obviously, when we went there, it was a bit annoying that you had to pay. I think it was like £300.
Yeah, but you contrast that now to in Supreme. So Supreme is very infamous for having bad stuff. I remember going there once and had a friend just looking at his phone, and he literally told him to.
Is it because they think they were on StockX or something?
Probably. Right? They probably, I don't know. Probably just no clue why, but I never really, I don't know. Whenever going to the store, I just have my phone out. So that was the first time I ever heard of like any rules or, considering that it's not really cheap, but I don't know, it's so bizarre to be treated very poorly, but yet people are.
But it's one of those things that still, despite how they treat people, it will still gain money.
True. And I think it's just that kind of mentality, like, I don't know. It's just it just has that exclusivity, like you're not a part of us, kind of feeling. And I think that's what sells nowadays. It's like things that you can't get. It's what sells.
Fair enough. That's probably one of the downsides of trends these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Supreme. Obviously, I've seen a few of their stuff. It literally just label their stuff. Like it's like having George Foreman's. It's literally just his name on top of a grill. I don't know how it will work. Like, I don't know if they have a design team that comes up and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this," or if it's literally just someone goes on Canva and copy and paste some crap, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll put Supreme logo on there.
But then again, you could compare that to brands like Balenciaga and stuff like that, where they literally just put a name. Admittedly, there is more stuff to do with design, but it's pretty much the same thing. Put a swoosh somewhere. What do you think it is? It's Nike.
Nah, it's my hair.
We should do that for. We should do like a challenge, and that should be your forfeit. Everybody, whoever loses has to get a swoosh on there.
I remember watching when I was younger. I don't even know Sam and Mark. They were these two like presenters. I think they were supposed to be like the next Ant and Dec, and they didn't.
Right, British, yeah.
Yeah.
In YouTube or
no?
Media?
It must have been CBBC.
CBBC, okay.
And they had a challenge where they had to, I think within like a week or two, they had to become decent barbers and also use patterns. And I thought,
patterns? When do you ever use patterns? What is this like?
In hair, so like like the Nike tick we spoke about the other day.
Right. Okay.
And so I remember it was just a lot of it was Nike. They like just do it. That was their slogan for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, those mini bags.
Yeah, everybody got one of those. But yeah, I remember watching that and thinking, what does it mean? We'll just do it. And then I remember like a year later, everyone was wearing the bags. And I was like, oh. At first I thought like they copied him, they copied his design, but I realised that Nike had it for a while. But yeah, so I don't know why I got
no, that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, so Supreme, what is coming that excites you, or if anything excites you?
Excited? There's nothing. Literally nowadays, yeah. I think a lot of the Supreme hype is driven by their collaborations with other brands.
Yeah.
But all they do at the start of the season is just release like a preview. So it doesn't usually involve collaborations.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time it's just that. I mean, I think I'm at that stage now where clothes is a bit boring for me. Like I'm not really interested. I'd rather just buy other things. But yeah. To me, Supreme, I would occasionally buy, but most of the time it's too hard to. I'm just not bothered enough to try really hard to get them because it's not worth it.
So with Andre 3000, what is it that they're specifically doing? What is it? T-shirts, jackets?
It's just a T-shirt. Yeah.
Just one T-shirt.
Yeah. So Supreme, they have like this ongoing thing that they do, which is like it's called a picture tee, I think, where they have usually it's a musician. So examples like who else? Gucci Mane, rapper. But sometimes they'll have celebrities, really popular people. So one of their T-shirts were I was gonna say Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And then all it is just a T-shirt with a print in front with Mike Tyson wearing a Supreme box logo. So it's just like a T-shirt with a Supreme logo, and it's just a thing nowadays. For some weird reason, every single season they'll release one, and Andre 3000 is quite big, I would say.
Yeah, not as big as Tyson.
Yeah.
But I would see why.
Yeah.
Obviously, not only does it like say, oh yeah, Supreme are working with Andre 3000. Everyone's like, oh, let me listen to Hey Ya again. Like, undoubtedly, Hey Ya will probably spike. Like
probably
in streams, just like momentarily after release or even announcement. They're like, oh yeah, he did that song. Yeah, let's listen to that.
I mean, I think nowadays, the thing is that with Supreme, I feel like a lot of their audience are fairly young, and what tends to happen is that they probably don't know who the people are. Like, I think when I was getting into Supreme, there was some, I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure there's probably one was who is that man? I can't remember now. There's an artist, and then he said he wanted his T-shirt removed actually because I think he's like a vegan or something, and Supreme collaborated with White Castle, which is a fast food chain in America.
Okay.
And because of that, he said, "Oh, don't release my T-shirt," but they did anyway.
Wow, it's their T-shirt.
Yeah, I think also Supreme is driven by controversies because things they release, like as you said, bricks. now they're worth so much, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Just having that name on it.
Yeah, like shovels, crowbar.
Am I thinking right? Did they have a jet ski once or something?
Yeah, jet ski. I think last season they had like a portable home. I don't know what you call it. It's like those things that you pull in the back of your car.
Caravan.
I think it's a car. It's not exactly a caravan, because I think a caravan is an actual moving car. If that makes sense. So, how do I say it? It's like a big van, but you can drive it. This one is the one that you just attach on your car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you call it.
No idea.
But yeah, they had that, but I think it was like 10,000. Who's gonna buy that? Jet skis were like 6K, and I'm sure the motorbike this time around is probably around the same amount.
Saying that, but in my shed, the jet ski's still there.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I get. So obviously, it's like, as we've spoken about before with Jimmy Fallon's shoe. We've spoken about the Yeezys with Kanye West's name on there. We spoke about Travis Scott in the last episode, or episode before. So it's basically the way to get rich or get hype is to collaborate. So that's why Two Men One Beard is now with Justin Bieber. So
we're gonna get big collaborators. Just wait for it.
But yeah, for legal reasons, Justin Bieber has nothing to do with Two Men One Beard yet.
Yeah. Just keep that in mind. Yeah.
But yeah, it's easy to see why, because celebrities play a massive role in people's lives now.
Yeah, especially with like social media, where a lot of celebrities' lives can be documented, and you can compare yourself to them, and I think that's just how it's going to be.
I was actually thinking about this the other day, right? So I was thinking about how like Twitter and Instagram have allowed us to actually see almost personal feeds of these celebrities, right? So obviously a lot of it can be doctored, and there's a lot of ads and stuff on their stuff, but I was thinking about it mainly due to the fact that when we were growing up, like before the Facebook hype, there was Bebo. Do you remember Bebo?
Yep, I never had one.
So I had Bebo. I was one of those social people that had Bebo. I was on it all the time, doing all the random stuff on there.
Vivo, isn't that like the YouTube channel that has all the music artists?
Bebo. But I remember it because people used to make fake accounts of celebrities back then. And so you would always be told, oh, it's not real, they're not real, you're never going to be able to interact or see what these celebrities are doing. And nowadays, it's everywhere.
Is this called prehistoric catfishing?
Basically, yeah. I remember people would find random Google images of like
random girls or like, okay.
Yeah, and then pretend to make their Bieber accounts, which would have like 23 friends or something, and you'll be like, damn, is that actually Frank Lampard? Like, but yeah, times have changed, and Instagram and Twitter are allowing us to spy on our favourite celebrities.
Yeah, and then I think what is not very difficult to realise, I guess, is that a lot of the stuff that is on social media has probably been like, I don't know, it's like the best things, you know what I mean? So, because obviously real life isn't Instagram. The things you see there doesn't happen to those people every day. Yeah, there might be celebrities, and I don't know describe it, but
so you're not going to see a celebrity, a major celebrity post a selfie while on the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably what I do with Snapchat. So, yeah, I know Ricky Gervais used to do random weird, ugly bathtub pictures. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
No, I haven't.
Purposely make his face like really ugly and take a picture of that. But you won't see like Kylie Jenner do that.
Yeah, of course, because it ruins their image.
Yeah. And it isn't a daily thing for them to have a photo shoot. Like, it's not. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and go outside and then there's gonna be a camera that's gonna start taking.
Of course not. Yeah, and I think it's more of like it's all premeditated. All those pictures, and to make sure everything's good. Like, I'm pretty sure she probably has a team.
Yeah.
To have a look at it and see if there's anything. Yeah, of course, and they probably photoshopped to the max.
Yeah, and obviously they have PR teams to make sure they don't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's what has also changed now, is that we had controversial figures before, pre-internet.
Yeah.
So there'd be people who, but they would have to have a spotlight already. So say like a celebrity who has an interview, like a film star. But now it's like obviously you can get randomly famous on TikTok and all of that, and whatever you say is now scrutinized to the point where it's like, okay, even if it's taken out of context, it's just gonna be like cancelled. You're cancelled.
It will get banned of Instagram, social media, like
like Andrew Tate.
I don't. You know what? Yeah, when that news came around, I didn't even know if it's real. Is it? Is it true?
I think it is. I saw something where he interviewed and said that he was playing a comedy role. I'm not sure if it was 100% true. You know how I think I've spoken to you about before, where he's putting on an act.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he basically, to justify himself, said that he was doing that.
An act. Okay.
But yeah, you get all sorts of people like that now, that are being cancelled. Like I know when Kevin Hart hosted the Oscars or something, there people went through his tweets from before, found them, and were like, "Oh, this is homophobic, this is racist, or whatever." And he got. I can't remember if he still did the Oscars that year. I'm not sure. I mean, they might have put Ellen in there, who's now been cancelled.
Cancelled, yeah.
Despite being there for like 20 years.
I think people like digging in on people's past.
Yeah.
And
I'm screwed. Like, go down my Facebook, you see all those. The accidental link clicks. And then
what the fucking the hack stuff, the fucking NPC text.
But yeah, hopefully we don't get to that point where we're cancelled. Yeah, so obviously this is episode, what are we on now? 7?
7, yeah, should be.
Whilst recording this, episode 3 has just been released. Every Thursday an episode will come out, which we're hoping for. If we do gather an audience, because at the moment we're at the point where we've got a few listeners, but if we do have dedicated base, we might do 2 a week, because we do mass record, mainly because we don't know how much time we're going to have.
Because obviously we both have jobs and we both have commitments. Yeah, so
like we could go on holiday or whatever. So we're basically just recording like at least 2 or 3 a day. Not a day, 2 or 3 a time. Every time we meet up, just to cover ourselves in case like we do go on holiday, or we just want a break for a bit from each other, because I know that JB's had enough of me by now.
Yeah, I can't wait till I get a different co-host.
You're stuck with me, I'm afraid. But yeah, so how was episode 7 for you?
Yeah. It's good that we covered a lot of stuff. I think that's what I really like.
Yeah,
and we did kind of get off the topic, but that's fine.
I think that's fine. We're not dedicated to
certain topics. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're like everyone's feedback, but we like to ramble. I think because obviously at the beginning we said, we were doing this because we used to talk on Discord all the time.
And this is it.
Discord chats.
Calls.
Just that we're recording it. We're trying to keep our language to a minimum, and there isn't random parts where JB gets annoyed at a teammate in League of Legends or something.
Me? I don't play League of Legends. I like to keep my sanity.
I think that's already gone. But yeah, cheers guys.
Follow us, subscribe to us.
Like
on I think we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts.
So Google Podcasts we are currently trying
not yet.
It's a bit harder
yet
to get onto for some reason. But yeah, Spotify, Amazon.
Amazon.
So with Amazon it's also on Audible, so whichever one you use.
Which one you prefer, both. Stitcher,
which is a lesser used but way popular with dedicated podcast listeners.
And Deezer.
Apple. We're on Apple as well.
Oh yeah, Apple.
We hopefully publish to each of those at the same time. I think Spotify is a little bit later, but yeah, we're also trying to upload to YouTube audio only versions. Does take a while on my laptop, so we may be using JB's gaming PC to do that. Because last time it rendered, it took like 2 hours, even though it was only audio only.
Oh right, I didn't know. Yeah.
So, we're gonna try and do audio stuff on there. If we do get obviously a following, we're gonna go back to video podcast.
Video
We found
format.
a way to do it without hopefully a camera overheating and less editing needed. So yeah, let us know what you guys think, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Goodbye.